So I don't know if it's the rise of VTubers like Neurosama, who is obviously great and, you know, has actually kind of provided so much for the space, including obviously Vidal as well, or if it's to do with something else. I don't know, just people being stupid in general. But I think it's time to kind of talk about, you know, what is the actual definition of a VTuber and why are these people using the term VTuber like for literally everything? I think it's so stupid, and it's something that has become almost a buzzword in the space, which I thought I just kind of wanted to talk about as this new post came out, and it kind of made me think, bro, like what are we actually doing here? Now, essentially they talk about a new feature that is apparently coming to YouTube, saying YouTube is introducing VTuber-like AI avatars that let creators make videos without being on camera. The feature creates a digital version that looks and sounds like them. So essentially you can create your own digital avatar that is essentially a AI version of you, and you can import it into videos, for example, a little bit like Sora that just shut down, or, you know, Grok, or whatever you want to call it, right? And, you know, you can feel whatever you want in terms of the AI stuff. That's really not the biggest of problems for me. It's more so the, you know, calling it a VTuber-like AI avatar. It's just not VTuber-like, is it, Dexerto? Like, let's be real. They've been so bad at kind of, you know, kind of defining what a VTuber is, and defining exactly, you know, what makes up a VTuber. And apparently they're calling this a VTuber. Essentially, you have an avatar for a person. You can put it in to the actual kind of video itself, and then it plays it out. None of this is VTuber-like, right? An avatar, just because you have an avatar that is, you know, a saved avatar of you, does not mean it is a VTuber, right? You know, a VTuber avatar would be something like in Live 2D. If they were doing a Live 2D kind of, you know, AI whatever, then I would, yeah, say that maybe you could call that a VTuber avatar. But just having a plain avatar alone, let's be real, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me why you would call this a VTuber-like kind of avatar. It's not. You can see right there, you know, does that look like a VTuber? No. You know, and there's many different kind of aspects to it. A, you know, it looks photorealistic, which I guess sometimes, you know, some VTubers could make themselves look photorealistic if they wanted to. B, it's not moving. You know, in order to be a VTuber, it's got to move, like at least minimum, right? And of course, it does not move. It's an avatar. It's just a photo that it uses, so then it can, you know, implement it into different things like this. And then with the AI video generation, it puts them into it. But again, even that isn't considered VTubing because there is no tracking going on. And again, with the avatar, I don't think there is any tracking going on. At least from what I've seen, there is zero tracking. No like facial tracking, no iPhones used, no VTube Studio, none of this kind of stuff to make it like a VTuber, right? You know, it is literally just an avatar. Just because something is an avatar does not mean it's a VTuber, right? And I think it is crazy, right? And maybe they're doing it because they think AI, and then they think, oh, Neurosama, or something like that. And then they're like, oh, wait, no, VTuber. Let's include this buzzword here so more people look at it and include it. But I do think it's a little bit ridiculous how, you know, far they're taking it and how far they're stretching it, right? Because I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be surprised if, like, some war breaks out somewhere and the news starts using the word VTuber to, like, you know, classify, like, I don't know, a warship. Like, oh, yeah, like the new VTuber-like warship. Like, they just use it anywhere because they just feel like it. They feel like it's a big, like, buzzword that they want to just use, which I think is insane. And obviously, there's been some quote retweets saying, hey, YouTube, why don't improve on your site? Obviously, a lot of people have been kind of angry about the AI feature itself, which I think is fair enough. I don't think it's really going to add much to the page, especially considering that Sora just shut down. You know, it kind of shows you how profitable it is. It's not. So YouTube loves to say they are moderating AI slop or actively contributing to AI slop, which is true, right? They recently just cut down on the amount of AI videos that they were kind of promoting on the platform. But now they're making, you know, features for people to do that, which I think is crazy. People say this feels just slightly hypocritical, saying basically everything that is new on YouTube is all just AI slop, not worth watching. Even retrospectives have been flooded with this, which obviously, yeah, if you're saying, and then they'll disable your monetization because of inauthentic content, which is true. You know, a lot of people just, yeah, putting the Hikaruma GIF, you know, and I've said demonetize and terminate original channels for inauthentic, mass-produced, and low quality because your AI moderation said so, which, yeah, I think is crazy. But I just want to say I will not be working with individuals who use this feature, such AI-generated models. There are some times when AI is helpful. This is not one of those times. I said the amount of deepfakes this makes, oh boy, and they have the gall to hit people with inauthentic content demonetization at times. They say they want to curb AI, but they really want to make AI work so bad, as if it's not already snapping at the seams. So people will still dig around this platform. And obviously, yeah, I said, you know, we're literally calling anything a VTuber now, bro. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand why, you know, this is not VTubing. This is deepfaking, right? And it is, right? That is 100% true. And people say, something tells me this is going to end well. Also, this is an insult to VTubers, right? 100% true. Because again, it's just like one of these situations which is just like, bro, you know, we do not need to be using the VTuber buzzword here, right? I know it gets them clicks. I know a lot of VTuber fans would do it, but like, I'm gonna be real. I like, maybe Dexerto is stupid. I don't know if the person over there is actually dumb, because again, what do you like by including the VTuber the kind of word in this? You're going to be attracting VTuber fans to be looking at this post. Do you know one thing that a lot of VTuber you know, fans dislike? AI. Like, seriously, you think VTuber fans are going to look at this and go, oh boy, I can't wait for this, you know, oh, I can't wait for this new AI feature that YouTuber bringing out. No, they hate it, right? And so now you're trying to include this buzzword to get more people on you, but the people that you're only getting are people who hate this post, right? Like, you're already introducing people who hate a topic like this and people who will not like this news, which I think is crazy. Maybe that's their plan, to get more engagement, I guess, without actually getting any likes or whatever, but I don't know. And obviously we've had similar kind of, you know, talks about this in terms of like the what makes up a VTuber and all of this kind of stuff, especially with the Burnt Peanut, who obviously won the best VTuber at the Stream Awards. Many people arguing that he's not a VTuber, and obviously I don't think he is a VTuber in terms of the fact that he is literally a Snapchat filter. But I would argue the Burnt Peanut is more of a VTuber than this YouTube AI system is, right? I think actually he has more attributes of a VTuber than this YouTube AI system, because obviously this is just a random avatar, like a picture of an avatar that gets thrown into an AI video, whereas this, you know, actually does have, I guess, some level of tracking, if you would really call it tracking, right? It has some level of tracking. Obviously it does use his face, which I don't really, you know, I don't really classify as a VTuber if you're using your, like, you know, he's using his eyes and his mouth as a feature of that VTuber model. So I wouldn't really class it as a full VTuber or anything, as I said. But I think like the kind of attributes in terms of the tracking and all of this kind of stuff actually has more attributes of a VTuber than this does. And obviously, you know, as someone who's been very against the Burnt Peanut and all of this kind of stuff and him winning the VTuber category, right? I still think it is crazy that, you know, somehow he even fits the category more so than this AI thing that YouTube has coming out, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, that is essentially all there is for this video. I just kind of wanted to cover it because I thought it's pretty ridiculous how these companies and how a lot of these news spaces are starting to use VTuber for literally anything that includes an avatar online, when it just completely is an insult to VTubers as a whole. And as I said, I don't know if it's the rise of, you know, a lot of popular VTubers at the moment that they're doing this, including, as I said, like Neurosama, and they're trying to associate it with AI now just because there is one AI VTuber, which I think is crazy. But it is starting to become a little bit of a problem. But yeah, that's about looking off this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazo, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. Yeah.